Okay guys, now we're gonna do the inspection from outside. The inside we'll do it later, but now we're gonna do everything from the outside. Anytime you wanna do your pre-trip inspection, you always need to start from top going to bottom. Never stop in the middle or sideways or anywhere. Always start from top, go all the way to the bottom, and then open your hood and go around your truck, okay? Now, the clearance light, the headlight, four-way flashers, high beam, low beams, left, right signal, we do all of them at the end. Okay, so don't do them before that, so you don't forget, you don't get lost or any of that stuff. Okay, now here we go. One, we got our clearance lights. Make sure they're all present and secure. Make sure they're all clean. Make sure they don't have no legal sticker, and make sure they're all working. They're not broke, not damaged. Mounted secure. Now we're gonna come down to our hood. Now my hood, make sure secure and mounted, is not broke, not damaged, is not leaning sideways, is not rusted. Okay, it's mounted secure. I have my mirrors on the side. Make sure the mirrors are secure and tight. They're not broke, not damaged, not rusted, they're not loose. Okay, I have the grill on my hood. Make sure it's secure and tight, not broke, not damaged. They don't have no legal stickers in the front of it. Okay, it's secure and mounted, and it's not damaged. Now on my hood, I have the hinges right here. This one to lock my hood and unlock my hood. I have one here, one on the other side. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not loose, and it's not rusted, and it's not dried. Okay, and it's not cut, because this is made out of plastic. Okay, now we're gonna come from the front here. I have my headlights. Make sure my both headlights are secured and tight. They're not broke, not damaged. Make sure don't have no legal stickers, and make sure they clean. Okay, they have to be clean. Okay, no legal stickers, secure and tight. Next one, I have my grill right here, my bumper, which is make sure it's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not bent, it's not rusted, it's mounted secure. Okay, on my bumper here I have my license plates. License plate, make sure it's secure and tight, it's not broke, not damaged. Make sure have no legal stickers, make sure it's valid, and make sure it's clean, and make sure it's secure and tight. Okay, now anything you're gonna do, make sure you touch the item. Okay, you can't just say the thing. Anytime you guys do an inspection, you need to touch and mention the part. Okay, if you don't touch it and mention the part, that means you did not explain it. Okay, I could stand here and say it, but I have to touch and make sure where all the parts is. Are we all clear on this one? Make sure all the time you touch the part. Now my bumper have fog lights. Okay, now I want to make sure both my fog light are secure and tight, not broke, not damaged. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's working, make sure don't have no legal stickers. The fog light is not included in the pre-trip, but I have to mention it. Okay, next one, I have under my truck. If I look at it, I don't have any leaks of oil, fluid, or any of that. It's not leaking whatsoever, it's good. Now I'm gonna open my hood. We're gonna come from the sides. I have my hinge from here. I'm gonna open it. I got another one from there. We're gonna open it. This is how you're gonna open it. Make sure you have hands here, two hands. Make sure you have your leg down here. You pull on it and slowly coming down with it. Make sure you hold on to it so it doesn't fall off on you. Now my hood is secure. Now we're gonna come from here. Very important, you need to mention each part. Okay, and what's connecting that part. Okay, if it's airline or cables, you need to mention them clearly, what they do, if they are cut or have corrosions on. Now I'm gonna start from the right side of the truck. You have two things to inspect here, which is we have alternator. Make sure my alternator is secure and tight with bolt to my engine. Make sure my alternator is not broke, not damaged, is not rusted. Okay, next one, the cable of my alternator is secured and tight. They not cut, not damaged, have no corrosions on it. My alternator is belt driven because see, works on the belt. Next one, I have my belt of my alternator. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not cut, not damaged, it's not dried. Okay, it's not cracked from the inside. It's secured and tight, and should not play no more than 3/4 of an inch. Okay, when you press on it, it should not play no more than 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Next one, I have my water pump right there. Make sure the water pump is secured and tight. Is not rusted, is not broke, not damaged, mounted secured, and is not leaking any hydraulic. Because remember, water pump have hydraulic in it, have liquid in it. Make sure you tell them it's not leaking. My water pump is gear driven. It's not connected to belt. Some other trucks, they have belt to it, so you tell them it's belt driven. This one is gear driven. Okay, before I move on to the other side, I'm gonna tell Hunt, all my cables here, they're all secured and tight. They not cut, not damaged, they not loose. They have no corrosions on it. They're all mounted secure. All the hoses that I have from this side, they all secure and mounted. They not cut, not damaged, they not bubble, they not leaking any air or hydraulics from it. Okay? Under the truck from this side, there's no leaks whatsoever of liquid, fluid, or any of that stuff. So this side is secure and tight. Now we're gonna move on from the other side. Okay, let me see if I can start the truck. Do I have the keys? Yes. All right, guys. I just wanted to start the truck because I need to turn the wheel so we could explain the inside. Same thing here, guys. We start from top, we go to the bottom. Don't start in the middle, you're gonna forget the top. Okay? Now we're gonna start with coolants. Make sure my coolants is secure and tight, is not broke, not damaged, is not leaking anything. It should be between add and full. The cab, make sure it's secure and tight. It's present, not broke, not damaged. It's not leaking anything. Okay. Now for my coolant, I have the cable here. Make sure it's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not cut. Have no corrosions and is not loose. Wash my washer fluid, secure and tight, not broke, not damaged. Okay. Is have no leaks in it, and make sure the cab is secure and present. My washer fluid is mounted secure. Okay, next one, I'm gonna come to my power steering. Make sure my power steering is secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not leaking any fluid or hydraulic that's in it. It should be between add and full. The cab, make sure they're all secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, they not leaking anything from of it or hydraulic. The hoses of my power steering, it's not cut, it's not damaged, not bubbled, it's not dried, it's not fried, and it's not leaking anything. It's mounted and secure. My power steering is gear driven, have no belts, works on a gear. Next one, I have my air compressor right there. This is your air compressor. Okay, make sure it's secure and tight with bolt to my engine. Okay, it's not rusted, it's not broke, it's not damaged. The hoses of my air compressor, they all secure and tight. They're not cut, not damaged, not bubble. My air compressor is gear driven, doesn't work on a belt. Okay, it's secure and tight. Next one, I have my oil. I'm gonna check my oil from here. You need to touch it, okay? So you can pull it. I'm gonna check my oil from here. My oil should be between add and full. Should be present secure, is not broke, not damaged, is not leaking any oil. If I need to add any, I'll add from here. The cab should be present and secure, not broke, not damaged, not rusted, not loose. Okay? It's secure and tight. Next one, now I'm gonna move on to my steering. Okay, we're gonna, now remember the steering, make sure you explain it all together. Okay, so you don't miss any of it. I have my steering shaft. Make sure it's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not bended, not legally welded, and it's not rusted. Make sure it does not play no more than 10 degrees. Okay, when you turn on it, it's not playing. Now I have my U-joints secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, they are not rusted. Make sure they are greased at all time, not cracked, no shiny metals on. Okay, next one, I have my steering box. Steering box, make sure it's secured and tight with bolt to my frame. Okay, it's not broke, not damaged, and make sure I have the lugs here. Make sure they're all secured and tight. They not loose. They have no shiny metals to it. My steering box is secured and tight. It's not rusted and it's not leaking anything. Okay, and it's gear driven because it does not work on a belt. The hoses of my steering box, they all secured and tight. They not cut, not damaged. It's not bubbled. Okay, it's not dried, it's not fried. Okay, it's secure and tight. I have pitman arm, secured and tight, not broke, not damaged. It's not bent, not rusted. Make sure have no oil or grease on. I have here 2 castle nuts. I got 1 castle nuts here. I got 2 castle nuts. Make sure my castle nut is secured and tight. They not cracked, not damaged. Okay, not legally welded. Make sure have no shiny metals on it. I have pins. I have 1 here. I got 2 here. These are the pins. Okay, make sure they secured and tight. They not loose. They not broke, not damaged. They not missing. Okay, I got now drag links. This is your drag links. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not bent, not damaged, and it's not legally welded. Okay, no grease or oil on it. It's secure and tight. Next one here, I have the other castle nuts. We said we have upper control arm and I got lower control arm. 2 of them. Okay, make sure they are secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, they not loose, not legally welded, not cracked, no shiny metals on them. Or you could call them, and they call them nickels. Okay, so sometimes they call them the nickels. You could call them either or. Okay, now in the bottom here, this is where I'm pointing. All this is called your tire rod. Okay, make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. Make sure it's secure, it's not bent, not legally welded. Make sure have no grease or oil on it. Okay, and it's secured and tight. This is all connected to my steering. Okay, next one, I'm gonna go to my spring. I have 1 spring mount. I got 2 spring mounts. There's another one right there. 2 spring mounts. Both my spring mount are secure and tight. They not bend, not damaged, not legally welded, not rust. They secured to my frame. I have spring leaves. Make sure my spring leaves secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not cracked. It's not missing any of them. No shiny metals, and make sure have no grease or oil on it. I have U-bolts here. I got 2 of them. 1, 2. Make sure they secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not legally welded. Have no shiny metals on it. Because remember, you have the bolts right from the bottom that are hooked up to it. So make sure no shiny metals, they're not loose. I have a shock absorber here. It's secured and tight. It's not broke. It's not damaged. It's not rusted. Okay, it's not leaking any hydraulics. And it's secure and tight. And it's not loose. And it's not bended. Make sure you always do all this together, guys. Don't do 2 parts and then move on again and then back again. Make sure when you point to a part, make sure the part, you gotta explain it, all of it. Don't only explain halfway. You explain the whole part. Even for you guys, when you drive on the road, make sure you check your truck before driving, because you never know what's gonna happen. You don't wanna brake in the middle of a snow or a storm and then you're stuck in the middle of the road. Now we're gonna move on here. Now here I have my brake chamber. Make sure my brake chamber is secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not rusted, it's not leaking any air. The hoses of my brake chamber is secured and tight. It's not cut, it's not damaged, it's not bubbled, it's not leaking any air and it's not fried and it's not cut. It's secure and tight. I have this is ABS cable. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not cut, it's not damaged, and it's have no corrosions on it. I have my slack adjuster. I got my push rods here. Both of them, make sure they secured and tight. They not crack, not damaged, and make sure it's not legally welded. Now, when I release my brake, should be at 90-degree angle. When I pull on my push rod, it should not play no more than 1 inch. Remember, guys, push rods, slack adjuster connect to each other. When you pull on them, should not play no more than 1 inch. You need to remember this. If you don't explain that to him, maybe you might fail your test. So you need to be able to. I'm gonna start now from the inside of my tires. I got the drum, the disc, and lining. They're all from the inside. Make sure they're all secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, they not cracked. Make sure have no holes in it. Your disc, make sure have a 1/4 inch thickness on it. Okay? No grease or oil on it, because if you have a grease or oil on it, if you push it on your brake, when your brake gets too hot, your truck might catch on fire. So you need to make sure there's nothing on it. They all are secure and tight. Before I move outside here, I'm gonna explain to him, all my hoses are all secure and tight. They not cut, not damaged, not bubbled. It's not dry fried, it's not leaking any air. My cables, make sure they all secure and tight. They not cut, not damaged. Make sure have no corrosions on it. They all secure and tight. Now we're gonna move on to my tires. My tires, make sure my tires should be leveled, should be virgin. Make sure the tire have no cut, no damage, no bubbles, is not leaking any air. Now the depth of my tires should be 432 in the front, 232 on the back ones. Remember, 432, 232 on the back. Now the pressure on my front tire should be 110. Remember, 110. I'm gonna check my pressure with approved air gauge. Remember, approved air gauge from my valve. The valve is right here. See? It's right over there. The valve, make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broken, not damaged. Make sure I have cab on it. It's secured and tight. No shiny metals, not cracked, and it's not missing. My front tire, we said the pressure is 110. The back one should be 100 PSI. I'll move on to my rim. My rim, make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, it's not damaged, it's not cracked, not legally welded, and it's not bent. And it's not leaking any air around it. It's secure and tight. I have my lug nuts. Make sure all your lug nuts are present. Okay? They're not missing, they're not loose, they're not cracked, not damaged, no shiny metals. Okay? They all are secure and tight. I have hub seal, secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not leaking any hydraulics. My whole tire is secure and tight, have no damage or any visible damage. Good. Now I'm gonna move on to my truck. Okay, from here, like we said, guys, we're gonna explain it from top, go to the bottom. I have my mirror mountain, it's secure and tight, it's not broke, not damaged, it's not bended. Okay, my mirrors have cover on it, it's secured and tight, it's not broke, not damaged, not loose. Okay, the mirror is secured and tight, it's not broke, not damaged, make sure it's clean, have no crack or illegal stickers on it. It's secure and tight. My door is secured and tight, it's not broke, not damaged, and have no illegal stickers on it. Make sure it's secured. My door opens and closes. The handles is working. It's not broke, it's not damaged, it's not cracked, it's not rusted, and works. My door, I have my seal of my door. It's all secure and tight. It's not cut, it's not damaged, it's not dried, it's not fried, and it's not loose. All the seals of my doors are all secure and tight. My hinges of my door, make sure they're all present and secure. They not bent, not damaged, not rusted, not legally welded, and is not missing. They're all present, secure. Next one, I'm gonna move on to my steps. Make sure my steps are secure and tight. Make sure it's clean at all times. Make sure there's nothing on it, because if there's snow or anything, I might slip and fall and break your leg or arm or any of that there. Make sure it's secure and tight. No broke, no damage. It's secure to my straps, or you can call the belts, okay? The straps and belt are secure and tight. They're not broke, not damaged, and they're not cut. Fuel tank, make sure my fuel tank is secure and tight. It's not leaking anything, it's not legally welded, and make sure it's secure and tight. The cab, secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not legally welded, and it's not leaking anything from the inside. See, it's working. See, I have my seal from the inside. It's secure and tight, and it's not broke, not damaged, not cut. See, secure and tight. Now I'm gonna move on to the back of my truck. I have another step here. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not loose, it's not broke, it's not damaged, not rusted. It's tied to my frame. Okay, with bolts. Make sure it's clean at all time. There should be nothing on it. Catwalk, make sure your catwalk is secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's secure to my frame. Okay, make sure there's nothing on it. Make sure it's clean at all time. Next one, I have my exhaust system. My exhaust system is secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not rusted, not legally welded. Okay, it's secured and tight from top and then bottom, and it's not leaking any smoke. Next one, I have my hoses. My hoses should be secure and tight. They're not broke, not damaged, not cut, it's not bubbled, and it's not leaking any air. It's secured and tight. Now the red one is emergency, the blue one is your service, the middle one is your cable. They all make sure they're not bubbled, not cut, not dried, not fried. Next one, I have my frame here. It's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not legally welded, it's not bent, it's secured to my frame. Now I have the cross member of my frame, one here, and we got 1, 2, 3. They're all secured and tight. They're not bent, not damaged, they're not missing. Okay, they secure and tight. Now inside I have a drive shaft right here. It's secure and tight. You can see it right there. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not rusted, and it's not bent, and it's not leaking anything. I have U-joints right there. I got one and I got two. I got one in the front, one in the back. Make sure the U-joints are secured and tight. They're not cracked, not damaged, not legally welded. Okay, and make sure it's not rusted, and make sure it should be greased at all times. All right, let me see, do we need anything? Pretty much here, we finished this one. Now I'm gonna move on from the inside from here. Now from here, I have again, springs. I got a spring mount here, I got one at the end. This is one, and this is the second. Right there. That's two spring mounts. Okay, they secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not legally welded, not rusted. It's secure, mounted to my frame. I have a spring leaves right here. That's the spring leaves right there. These are spring leaves, just like I showed you guys before. It's secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not cracked. Make sure they're missing, they not loose, and make sure they have no grease or oil on it. Another one, we have U-bolts right there. You have two U-bolts. Should be secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, they not cracked, not legally welded, and make sure have no shiny melts and they not loose. Next one, I have a shock absorber right there. That is our shock absorber right there. Should be secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not rusted, not bent, it's not leaking any hydraulic out of it. So it's secured and tight. So same parts, my springs are all completed done. Now I'm gonna move on to my brake chamber. Right there, the brake chamber, right here. Brake chamber, make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not rusted, it's not leaking any oil. Now on the back of the brake chamber, we have the hoses. They are secured and tight. They not cut, not damaged, not bubbled. Same thing, in the back of the brake chamber, we have slack adjuster and push rods. Make sure they secure and tight. They not cracked, not damaged, not legally welded. The push rod, when you pull on it, should not pull no more than 1 inch. Okay, so this is all the ones from here. Now we're gonna move on from the inside of my tires. Remember, inside your tires, we have the drum, the disc, and the lining. Make sure they're all secure and tight. They're not broke, not damaged, not cracked. Make sure they have no holes in it. Make sure they have no dirt, oil, or grease on it. Make sure they're all secure and tight. Now we're not done from the inside because we have one more thing here. We have airbags right here. That's very important. Your airbags, make sure it's secure and tight. It's not cut, not damaged, not bubbled. It's not leaking any air. All secure and tight. Now, make sure the spaces between the tires should be clean at all time. Make sure there's nothing in between. And you need to mention that I'm gonna check all my axle, exactly how I'm gonna check this axle. Now, I'm gonna come to my tires from here. Make sure my tires is leveled, not cut, not damaged, not bubbled, and make sure I have no cuts on it. The depth of this tire should be 232. Remember, the front one we said is 430. And the pressure of this tire, 100, the front is 110. I'm gonna check my pressure with an approved air gauge. Approved air gauge. For my valve, the valve is right here. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not leaking any air. Make sure to have cab on it. The cab must be present, not loose, no shiny metals, and is not missing. My rim, secured and tight. Nope, is not cracked, not damaged. Very important, it's not bended. Okay, it's secure and tight, and have no rust on it, and is not leaking any air. I have my lug nuts. Make sure they're all secure and tight. They're not missing, they're not loose. Okay, make sure they are tight, no crack, no shiny metals, and they're not busted. Okay, they're all present. I have my axle seal, secured and tight. It's not broke, it's not damaged, it's not leaking anything. All the lug nuts of it, they're all present and secure. They're not missing any of them. No shiny metals, they're all secured and tight. My whole tire is secured and tight and is good. Now after we finish all this, now we're gonna come to our coupling. Now very important, you need to watch out your coupling system here. Okay, now we're gonna start from here. We have mounting bolts. They're right there. These are your mounting bolts. They all secure and tight. Okay, they're not loose, they're not broke, not damaged, not rusted. They have no shiny metals. I have my fifth wheel frames right there. Make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not bent, not legally welded. And it's secured and tight. I have my fifth wheel, sliding fifth wheel right there. Make sure this is your sliding fifth wheel. Make sure it's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. Make sure it's clean. Make sure the holes here, make sure they're all clean. They're not bent, not legally welded. It's secure and tight. I have sliding pins right there. They all, make sure they're all present. Right here, they all present and secure. They're not missing, not broke, not damaged. I have my release arm right here. It's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not legally welded, and make sure it's tight and is in the lock position. Why? Because you have the trailer on. You need to mention to him it's in the lock position. Next one, we have from the inside, we have the locking jaw. So it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. Make sure have grease on it. It's not legally welded. okay, and it's not rusted. We have the fifth wheel plate skids. It's secured and tight. It's not broke. It's not damaged. Make sure it should be greased at all times. Not legally welded, and make sure have no bend, is not damaged, and is secure and mounted. For my trailers, this is apron. Make sure the apron is secured and tight. Make sure it's not broke, not damaged, and make sure it's not loose and no legally welded. Inside the trailers, okay, we have the kingpin. It's from the inside. It's secured and tight. It's not broke, it's not damaged, not legally welded, and make sure it greased at all time. And the last thing would be, there's no gap between the trailers and the fifth wheel, mean between the plate skid and the apron. You should have no daylight, no gap. It's secured and tight. Now, before we move on to the other one, there's two more things you need to remember. I don't know if you guys could see it or not. Torque arm, here. Let me show you the torque arm. Right there. Can you see it? Right there. This is a torque arm. See? Up a little bit. Yeah, that's right there. This is your torque arm. Okay? Make sure you have two torque arms. One in the front, one in the back. Make sure they secure and tight. They're not bent, not damaged, not rusted, not legally welded. They are secure and mounted.
What about the bushing?
Huh?
What about the bushing
Which one bushing?
inside the torque arm?
No,
Don't need to
no,
mention.
you just mentioned the torque arm. You don't have to mention. Now this is all regarding my trailer, but before the tractor, before I move on, this is, you have splash guard or mud flap. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, it's not damaged, it's not cut. Should be 4 inches above the ground. Now we're gonna move on to the trailer. Now, my trailers, I have, this is the headboard or this is the sideboard. Make sure they're all secured and tight. They're not broke, not damaged. Make sure there's no legal stickers on it. It's secure and tight. I have upper frame, I got a lower frame. They both are secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged. Upper frame, lower frame. Make sure the bottom frame, you have your all cross members are present. These are cross members. These are cross members of the trailer, which is they all secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not bent, not missing, not legally welded. They all secured and tight. Side, I have DOT stickers. On the side should be 50%. The back of the trailer, it should be 100%. I have clearance light right there. Make sure both those clearance lights are present and secure. Make sure they're not loose, they're not broke, not damaged, they have no legal sticker. Make sure to have the proper color. We already explained the hoses here. Now we're gonna move on to the landing gear. Now landing gear is 3 parts. We have the handle, we have the leg, and we have the shoe. Now the handle, make sure it's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not bent, not legally welded. And it's secure to the bracket. This is a bracket, okay? Secure to the brackets. Leg is secure and tight. It's not bent, not damaged. Make sure it's not rusted and it's not leaking any hydraulic. It's not leaking any hydraulic, guys. Shoe, secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not legally welded. It's secure to the leg. Okay? It's secure and mounted. Now before we forget, make sure there's enough clearance between my axle and my landing gear. Always make sure you have enough clearance. Why? So you could turn on your trailer. If they are too close, then the trailer is gonna hit your axle. Then you're not gonna be able to make the turn. So always remember to have enough clearance between the landing gear and your axles for turning, if you are turning sharp left and right. Okay. Now some people tell me why I need the sliding fifth wheel. The reason why we have the sliding fifth wheel, to balance your weight. Okay, to balance your weight. Plus you need to leave the distance between the landing gear, and your axle. Now we're gonna move on to the rest. Now this one is your turn signal. Okay, your four-way flashers should be secure and tight, not broke, not damaged. Make sure have the proper color and it's secure and it's not broke. Now I'm gonna show you from the inside. You could go from the inside so you can see what's inside. All right, here we have under the trailer, we have tandem release. Now it's in the lock position. Make sure it's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not legally welded, and it's secure and tight. Now we have our tandem sliding right here. Make sure it's secure and tight, not bent, not damaged, not legally welded, and it should be clean, should nothing have between these holes. Now we have the pins right here for the tandem release should be secured and tight. They in the lock position. They not broke, not damaged, and make sure they all present. Brake chambers right here is secured and tight, not broke, not damaged, it's not rusted, it's not leaking any air. It's secured and tight. The hoses is secured and tight, not cut, not damaged, it's not bubbled, it's not leaking any air, and it's not dried, it's not fried. And the back of brake chamber right there, and the back of it, it's slightly just on the push rod right there, guys. It should be secure and tight. It's not bent, not damaged, and make sure should not pull on more than 1 inch. It's secure and tight. Now this one is mounting arm. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, and make sure it's not rusted, not legally welded. I have control arm right there, secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not legally welded. It's secure and tight. I have shock absorber here. It's secured and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. Okay, it's not rusted. It's not leaking any hydraulics. I have airbags right there. It's secured and tight. It's not cut. It's not damaged. It's not leaking any air. It's secure and mounted. I have here U-bolts right there. Remember, you have 2 of them. They secured and tight. They not crack, not damaged. Make sure are not loose, no shiny metals, and they not busted. They secured and tight. We finish everything from the here. Now we have the inside your tires right there. Now disc, drum, and lining are secured and tight. They not broke, not damaged, and make sure have no grease or oil on it, and make sure have no holes in it, and make sure it's secured and tight, and the disc make sure have a 1/4 thickness on it. Now we're gonna move on to the outside. Now to the outside we have again our tires. Before that, you need to make sure there's nothing in between the tires. They all the time supposed to be clean, nothing in between them. Okay, I'm gonna check this axle, all 4 axles exactly the same way. Tires, make sure it's secure and tight. Make sure it's leveled. Make sure it's not cut, not damaged, not bubbled. Make sure the depth of this tire is supposed to be 232. Remember the front ones? I'm gonna repeat it again, 432. I'm gonna check the pressure of this tire with an approved air gauge, 100 PSI. And I'm gonna check with an approved air gauge. The valve is right here. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, not leaking any air. Make sure have cab on it. Cab is secured and tight. It's not missing, no shiny metal, and it's not cracked. I have lug nuts. Make sure all my lug nuts are secured and tight. They not loose, they not broke, not damaged, no shiny metals on it. I have my rim. It's secured and tight. No bend, no damage. It's not rusted. Okay, and not legally welded. And it's not leaking any air. It's secured and tight. I have my axle seal, secured and tight, not broke, not damaged, not leaking any hydraulics. All the bolts are secured and tight. They're not broke, not damaged. My whole tire is secured and tight and is not damaged. Here I have my mud flap or splash guard. It's secured and tight. It's not cut, not damaged. and it's supposed to be 4 inches above the ground and secure and tight. Move on here. Now I have my ABS light. Make sure it's secure and tight, not broke, not damaged. Make sure I have the proper color. Make sure it goes off after 90 seconds when the truck starts. If it doesn't go off, that means you have a problem. You cannot drive the truck. You guys know what this is called? This is your this is your holder that holds your door, which is your hinges. You could bring the door to hold your doors on it. It's secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. It's not missing. Okay. Now this is your reflector lights, which is secured and tight. Make sure it's not broke, not damaged. Make sure have no legal stickers, and make sure it's working. Make sure have the proper color. Now we're gonna move on to the back of my door. All right, now I have the back of my trailers. You start from the top going down to the bottom. I have my clearance lights. Make sure they're all secure and tight. They're not broke, not damaged. Make sure they're clean. Make sure have the proper color. No legal stickers. I have my door. My door is secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged. All my hinges are present and secure. They're not missing, not bent, not damaged. All the lug nuts are present and secure. DOT stickers at 100%. None of them should be missing. Now my door have a seal. My seal is secure and tight. It's not cut, not damaged, not dry, it's not fried, and it's not loose, and it's not leaking anything. I have my door handles are secure and tight. They not broke, not damaged, not bended, not legally welded. Make sure it opens my door and locks. My door is in the lock position. I have my chain to hold your door, which is on the side. They are present and secure. They're not broke, not damaged, they're not missing. Okay, you have to have them all present. Okay, now I have my bumper is secure and tight. It's not broke, not damaged, it's not bent, not legal stickers on, not legally welded. It's secure and tight. DOT stickers, 100%. Make sure they're secure and tight. They're not cut, not damaged. Make sure